Hi, Misha here, and recently Arsenal has brought over another batch of the SLR-107-51, aka the SLR-107UR Carbine and 7.62x39. This is of course based on the AKSU, the Krink. Has pretty much all the right features: side folding stock, hinged top cover. I can do it here. Maybe. This one's new out of the box. There we go. Which also retains your handguard. Very shortened bolt group, which we'll look closer at in a minute. Takes standard mags, although they ship with a little 5 10 rounder. And yeah, this isn't anything new. In fact, it was the first of the Arsenal Krinks, but we thought we'd talk about it a bit, compare it with some we've already shown in previous videos. Here is essentially the same gun, but with a milled receiver. This is the SAM7K, one we really enjoy shooting. In fact, we had it out to the range just last month. It's always a good, reliable gun, and one that Jay and I routinely put at the top of our lists. So let's show it in action to give this video some flair. SAM7K. Never had a problem out of this one. And likewise, another gun we've featured quite a bit. This is the SLR-104, well, this is 54. Anyway, 104UR. Same as the first gun, except this is chambered for the 5.45x39 caliber M74. And these have not come in a few years, and they did sell them both with the metal stock and the polymer. And again, just for fun, let's show some clips of one of these at the range. 104UR.
You look so much taller than me when you're up on the step.
I'm just not crouching.
It's clear.
So this is not new, although they have only come in small batches in recent years. This was one of the first of the stamped line in the 107 series to come out, first announced in 2006. They did the 106, 107F, 106, 107FR. They did a 106, 107CR, which is the intermediate length, and then they did the URs. And these are true imports. They're brought over as sporters. Once in the USA, the folding stock is added, pistol grip is added, and it's converted to take standard magazines. Also, they are imported all with the 16-inch barrel because they come in as rifles. It's not legal to import a Title III Class 3 gun for civilian sales, so they have to all come in as Title I. Hence, if you're going to do the carbine thing, you need the long barrel. But what's nice, they're SBR ready under this cap, which is removable. There are 24mm threads, so cut it down to the cap, and you have yourself an 8 1/4 inch barrel. And you can always replace the modern stock and handguard with traditional furniture and have yourself a neat looking Krink in 7.62x39. And like I said, this is a stamped receiver. So let's compare it to this milled over here. Now this one, instead of coming in as a carbine, these are imported as pistols. But when they come in, they have actually a 10.5-inch barrel, which needs to be cut down to 8 1/4. And they don't come in with threads, so you need to replace the front sight base with a threaded one. Now, towards the end of the SAM7K line, they finally got wise and started doing this work at Arsenal, marketing it as the SAM7K 44. And then, of course, you can either SBR it and attach a stock, or you can keep it as a pistol and attach a brace. Again, this is a milled receiver, so it's going to be a good bit heavier. But otherwise, it has a lot of the same features. Let's look inside. Still has a hinged top cover. Nothing real special about the recoil springs on these, but they are the machined type for what it's worth. Our bolt group here. That's gonna flick something. They are definitely spring loaded. Yeah, there we go. Bolt carrier, spring loaded firing pin, short piston, unfluted. And here is the inside of the milled receiver. Feed ramp there. What's nice about these, they can come in taking standard mags because they are pistols. They don't have to worry about being compliant with all the sporter regs. But these do. They cannot come in taking high capacity so-called mags. Take this open, hinged. Notice this has the wire type guide versus the machined over here. And as far as the bolt, this out of the way. Here it is here. Short piston, spring loaded. So yeah, pretty much the same. Although I want to check one thing that I noticed or might have. Okay, they do have the same length handle. I was curious about that. Yeah, they seem pretty much identical, even both having the notch taken off. And let's look inside this guy for the stamped receiver, noting the feed ramp up here. How it has to be attached. And here's our folding style. Another difference, this has the standard rear sight, 2-position flip notch, whereas our milled will have a 2-position with this, of course it's always on the other side, right guys? With this crank on the side to flip them. And it has a peep and a notch. So that's a little bit different. And of course it takes milled Krink handguards instead of one's meant for a stamped receiver. With that, let's compare with the other stamped gun. Now the SLR-104UR was really the only stamped gun of its type that Arsenal did. In fact, it was the second stamped gun in 545 that imported, and it came out much later. They did not announce these until 2012, and they didn't become available till effectively 13. Which is funny because it's the original caliber. Come on. Maybe. There we go. So this too has the wire style guide. By the way, they always ship these with 30 round mags because they did not have a Bulgarian short mag made up. I don't think they were ever really intending on mass production. Look inside there. Pretty much looks the same. And as far as the bolt group on this guy, here we are. Now this is what I was talking about. Notice the charging handles. This is pretty much standard size. This one is short, quite a bit shorter. So that is one major difference in the carriers, aside from, of course, the caliber, is the 104 has the small handle, which was Krink common. Still has floating firing pin, though. And it has the fluted piston head. But only one flute because Krinks. I just thought it might be fun to kind of compare the guns with each other. So we'll get these back together and come back for some final thoughts. The SAM7K with S&B brass case. Back to the mill here. Bolt travel. This has a double hook Bulgarian milled trigger. It also does feature the left side safety, thumb safety. As for the 104, also quite smooth. This has the earlier version of the FIME single stage trigger. And now our 2020 has the newer FIME trigger, the E, the enhanced. Which, yeah, is a little lighter, but at least on this one, this one's heavier but a little smoother. This one's lighter but a little maybe crunchier. Kind of, you feel the spring. But again, I'm just on the trigger front. These Bulgarian milled double hooks are the best of both. Both smooth and light. The milled's gonna be your smoothest, kind of less rattly, but it is gonna give you a good bit more weight, up to over a pound easily. And again, they're imported as pistols. This is noticeably lighter and can be very easily SBR'd by just chopping the barrel. Various versions and types of these may or may not have a gas restrictor, because without it, some of them are overgassed when you shoot it with the 16-inch barrel. Nice quality, and Bulgaria certainly ran with the Krink and 7.62x39 more than Russia ever did. And these have been around for a long time, but again, they come in very small batches. And it is an authentic Krink import. These, the 104s, seem to be gone. They did a batch, kind of, albeit reluctantly. Now they finally disappeared, but they're still selling off the original batch up through like last year. So they have no more plans to import more of these at this time, and probably won't. But never ever say never. But they never did this as a pistol. There's a few reasons why. They also did this same gun here as a 5.56, known as the 106UR. Those are no longer coming in and probably won't come around again because they didn't sell great. And they did a 106U and 106UR pistol, but it was on a stamped receiver, no stock. And originally it had a 10.5-inch barrel too, but then they got wise there and cut it down to 8.25 and gave it a removable muzzle brake. So Arsenal has done quite a few Krinks for the semi-automatic civilian market over the year. And they do well. They're well built. They have the right features. The chrome line, cold hammer forged barrels. There was talk, of course, with the 104s keyholing because Bulgaria uses the original twist rate, which is about 1 in 7.3 twist. It makes more sense in millimeters, I promise. And Russia went to 1 in 6.8 after experiences in Afghanistan, so about a 1/2 inch sped up to stabilize, but that was more for use in kind of high cold environments like the mountains. And again, it wasn't like the guns were jamming or blowing up, they just didn't have the accuracy they wanted. Bulgaria stuck to the original pattern, and it doesn't seem to be a problem for semi-autos, even if you cut the barrel down. And of course, in other calibers like this, it doesn't even matter. In 5.56, for example, they just do the 1 in 7 twist. But a few people have asked about these since they've come around again. And I thought, yeah, why not talk about a bit more? Show some shooting footage from the other guns. They're really neat. And a lot of people will do a Krink kit build, and that's fine. But these guns are authentic to what they are and can really be made to look right with just an application of wood handguards. So, yeah, feel free to discuss your Arsenal Krinks, and let us know any stories you have. If you have any questions or comments, please do post them, and we'll do our best to help. And as always, if you'd like to help support us, please check out the link to our Patreon page. $1 and up really helps. And with that, Jay and I both will catch you very soon next time.